Right now, we're giving you a live look at Denver, where we're shaking off 4 days of freezing temperatures, and we might even get up to 60 degrees by the weekend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. Let's pass the baton over to Katie LaSalle. Katie?
Yes?
Your forecast back to a lot of dry and a lot of seasonably mild temperatures.
It feels nice. Yeah, shaking it off. Yesterday we did see 40s and sunshine, created a lot of melting across the roadways. The next couple of days, maybe car wash weather. It's going to stay dry, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and temperatures right now in the mid-30s, still below freezing in the 20s near Firestone out through Conifer. And it is cold in the mountains this morning, but that's pretty typical for this time in January. No hazardous weather to tell you about for today. A bit windy at times into the mountains and foothills, but no advisories, watches, or warnings. It is significantly warmer across eastern Colorado and really all of Colorado for the most part. You can see Lyman 33 degrees warmer right now than it was at 8 a.m. yesterday. For this morning, we'll hang with some cloud coverage here across the Front Range and Plains. 11 o'clock, partly cloudy skies, 43, 1 sunshine, 47 the expected high out at Denver International Airport, with upper 40s extending over Fort Collins, out across the eastern plains, 20s and 30s in the mountains. Still a bit breezy. We'll look ahead at the extended forecast, and we are tracking some light mountain moisture. Details on that when it arrives Wednesday and through Thursday. Overall, though, a very mild and dry weather pattern. Brianna, a lot of melting yesterday. How are roads looking this morning?
A lot of melting. You know, it's really going to be those neighborhood side streets and sidewalks that are going to be probably still icy and snowy if you're heading out. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're leaving your house. But our major interstates, I-25, 23rd Avenue, the only thing I'm tracking is a lot of slowdowns. You can see it right now on your screen. Folks heading out the door, taking southbound lanes. This is where we're noticing that impact right now. No crashes to report up and down I-25, but I do want to talk about one crash that Denver police is investigating right now. They're saying that this is a hit and run crash involving a pedestrian. That pedestrian was taken to the hospital. This is all happening just south of I-70, close to Colorado Boulevard, right at the intersection of 40th and Harrison Street. They're saying that the eastbound lanes along 40th are shut down right now as they continue their investigation. We do have limited information and we don't have any CDOT cameras to show you, but just expect delays, especially if you're taking Colorado and you're seeing a heavy police presence in that area.
All right, thank you, Brianna. Some federal agents are leaving Minnesota starting today, including Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino. That's according to both CNN and NBC sources. This news comes following the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy this past weekend. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live to talk more about the growing pressure there, and also, Courtney, of course, the calls to de-escalate the tension in Minnesota.
Yes, that's right, Drew. Customs and Border Patrol is planning to reduce the number of Border Patrol agents in the Twin Cities sometime this week, according to NBC News, who cited a Trump administration official and a law enforcement official. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey later confirmed in a news release some federal agents will begin leaving the area today. According to CNN, administration officials were deeply frustrated with Bovino and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's handling of the shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by federal agents on Saturday. Noem is now scheduled to testify on Capitol Hill amid mounting bipartisan frustration, and the White House has confirmed Border Czar Tom Homan will lead operations in Minneapolis. Homan is supposed to meet with Mayor Frey today, according to a social media post from the president, who says he's also been in contact with Minnesota's leaders over the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, people in Minneapolis are honoring the life of Preddy, who was an ICU nurse at the Minnesota VA hospital. Marta Crownhart was Preddy's patient just weeks ago. Our sister station Care in Minneapolis sat down with her recently.
He took 20 minutes with me and sat with me and even said a prayer with me. He held my hand and he told me things were going to get better. He cared for me and he cared for all these vets.
Coming later this week, Minnesota's chief federal judge is ordering the head of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to appear in a Minneapolis courtroom on Friday. That's according to Minnesota Public Radio. In a court filing yesterday, Chief Judge Patrick Schiltz wrote, quote, "The court acknowledges that ordering the head of a federal agency to personally appear is an extraordinary step, but the extent of ICE's violation of court orders is likewise extraordinary, and lesser measures have been tried and failed," end quote. Live in the newsroom, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Courtney, thank you. Some Democrats in Colorado's legislature are trying to make federal agents personally liable for their actions. A bill introduced in the state Senate would allow civilians to sue federal officers in state court if those officers violate their constitutional rights. Democratic State Senator Mike Weissman of Aurora is sponsoring the bill that would strip various forms of immunity for those officers.
The need for it is only sharpened with every passing day, with every atrocity, frankly, that federal agents perpetrate in a major city in our country.
We expect to see Democrats who hold the legislative majorities to bring a series of immigration-related bills this session.
The Department of Homeland Security says it's investigating reports that some of its agents left behind what are called death cards after detaining people on the Western Slope. We're going to take a look at these cards right here. The Ace of Spades card is what we're going to show you. The ICE Denver Field Office words written at the top of that card. That points to the Immigration Detention Center in Aurora. So according to immigration advocates, families of people who were detained along Highway 6 in the Eagle Vale Valley recently found them when they went to go retrieve their cars after traffic stops. These cars are similar to the same cars that U.S. soldiers would leave behind on bodies during the Vietnam War.
It's sickening. It's disgusting. It comes from a place of evil. This is not dignified law enforcement. This is not right. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, or unaffiliated. If you're American, if you're a Coloradan, if you are a human being and you see this type of hate and this type of practices, it begs the question, why?
The Department of Homeland Security says they, quote, unequivocally condemn the cards. They say ICE supervisors have acted fast to address the issue, but they didn't provide specifics.
We're learning more about the man accused of driving under the influence and crashing his truck through the front doors of a school in Greeley. According to court documents, Eduardo Perez has 5 prior convictions for drinking and driving. The arrest affidavit says Perez drove through a construction zone, then the main doors, down a hallway and into the school's cafeteria. 2 janitors told police they had to jump out of the way to avoid being hit. No one was hurt. He is also facing a charge for a crash in December of 2024. Weld County District Attorney Michael Rourke says his office is reviewing the case and may add a felony DUI charge. Perez faces up to 6 years in prison if convicted.
The city of Loveland is scrapping a long-term plan to address homelessness. A couple of weeks ago, City Council talked about buying a building in the northwest part of the city to convert it into an overnight shelter and resource center. That plan was contingent on finding someone to operate it. The city says 2 organizations expressed interest. One was deemed qualified, but they withdrew their application. So because of all that, the city says they no longer are trying to sell or, buy that building. They've been using the Loveland Resource Center as a temporary overnight shelter since the fall when they shut down their only overnight shelter for adults. They say they'll stop allowing people to stay there overnight beginning on March 15th and will permanently close that building at the end of April. And at that point, they say they plan to sell it.
Plans are in place for an AI data center to be built in Weld County. Martin Lind is the developer. They confirmed that Global AI bought the property for more than $15 million. It's close to 500 acres of land. Lind says the site was once home to Carestream Health and Kodak, which means there is infrastructure there that could help with construction. The property sits in unincorporated Weld County, but the owners could choose to annex into either Greeley or Windsor. Lind says he's aware there's mixed reactions to these centers.
There's an argument that they're not good because they just use power and they don't employ people. There's a counter argument that they produce an enormous amount of property taxes without adding very much traffic to the streets.
Lind says this news comes around the same time that Wyoming announced a large data center heading there.